I think by now almost everyone is aware that Mel Kiper has mocked Jaxson Dart to the Saints and has given a lot of reasons for that. And one, you got a new coaching staff that's very offensive that wants to pick their quarterback. You got an opportunity to let him sit there behind a veteran in Derek Carr and take over the reins potentially in year two. We watched a ton of Jaxson Dart here over the last 3 years, and I didn't think he was great 2 years ago. I thought the last 2 years he was a damn good college football player. I thought he was productive. I thought he was sneakily athletic. I thought he had decent arm, decent size. Nothing pops with Jaxson Dart. I just thought he was a damn good college football player. And when I think about him as the 9th pick in the draft, I consider him a really, really, really high risk. Part of that is because of his skill set, which I find to be solid and unspectacular. And part of that is because of the position he plays, where most quarterbacks you pick are busts. That's just the reality. Most quarterbacks selected, even in the first round, don't work. It's such a low hit rate. And to me, the Saints right now are in a position where they need to hit on early round draft picks that play across the field and don't make a ton of money. And so while, yes, quarterback remains the most important position in the sport, I look at Jaxson Dart, and he's too close to Spencer Rattler for me to feel like I need to take a first-round top 10 selection on him. Like, when I look at the best quarterbacks across the NFL, I don't get a lot of Jaxson Dart vibes from them. Jaxson Dart does not play like Lamar Jackson. He does not play like Joe Burrow at that level that Joe did in college. He does not play like Josh Allen. He does not play like Patrick Mahomes. He does not play, like, if you want to toss Justin Herbert in that conversation, he doesn't play like Jalen Hurts. Like, he plays like Spencer Rattler. Like, Spencer Rattler had some good years. Now, I think that when I look at Lane Kiffin coaching Jaxson Dart for 3 years, he probably had a better situation than what Spencer Rattler had. Early in his career, he did have Lincoln Riley, and they were okay, and then he got benched for Caleb Williams, and then he went to South Carolina, and he was decent there, and probably wasn't as good as Jaxson Dart, but their skill sets are fairly similar. They don't have elite size. They don't have an elite arm. It's good. They were highly thought of high school players that have some tools, but if you tell me the Saints drafted Jaxson Dart at the end of the 3rd round, I'd be like, yeah, that makes sense. If you told me they drafted him where the Saints drafted Spencer Rattler, I'd be like, yeah, that makes sense. But when you've got a roster that's just riddled with holes, like the Saints have, you need to start filling those holes with some guys that you're really confident can do that. And Jaxson Dart cannot be a guy that you feel like is the 12-year starter for your franchise. Again, I'm not ruling his NFL career out as we sit here today, and I think he had a really nice college career. This is not an LSU Ole Miss thing. This is covering the Saints. As an LSU guy, I don't want Jaxson Dart back at Ole Miss. I think he's really good. But the confidence level you would have in him coming in and being a franchise guy has got to be low based on his skill set and the pick, like the position. So give me an edge rusher. Give me an interior offensive lineman. Give me a high-level interior defensive lineman. Give me a corner. Like, give me somebody that you feel better about than a quarterback who's going to come in and sit on the bench for the first year. I just don't think the Saints are in that position right now. This is less to do with Jaxson Dart and more to do with where the Saints are drafting and what their roster looks like. There may be some teams that it makes a lot of sense to draft Jaxson Dart 25th overall, whoever has that pick. Maybe your roster is in such good shape, your quarterback's aging a little bit, and you're doing what some teams have done in the past. And you're taking Dak Prescott when you have Tony Romo, and you're taking Aaron Rodgers when you've got Brett Favre, and you're taking Michael Penix when you've got Kirk Cousins. And you could make that case for Derek Carr being older and Spencer and Jaxson Dart being there, but you've already got Spencer Rattler. And I just feel like the Saints roster has so many holes, you need to fill one at 9. And Jaxson Dart just isn't that guy. This is one of those points that I could make a complete 180 on and argue the other side and probably be fairly convincing to do it. but it would be disingenuous. Like, that's not the direction the organization needs to go. You cannot be taking massive risks at 9. The Chiefs probably can. The Eagles probably can. There was a time there where I thought the 49ers probably could. No, they took a step back last year. But, like, when you've got a roster that's just loaded, you can take a big swing. The Saints are the opposite of that. They got a Swiss cheese roster that needs to be filled in now, and Jaxson Dart doesn't fill any of those other holes. If he's still there in the 3rd round, fire away. For now, if you're betting on a young quarterback on the come who's cheap, bet on Spencer Rattler, see what this staff can do with him, and then see if he's the next guy after Derek Carr. I think all of us kind of sit back and go, well, hopefully they win 4 games this year and they get to pick in the top 3 next year. Then there will be a quarterback. But 9, Jaxson Dart, I'm out. If you're looking for our Saints coverage, you can always find it at Hunt on Saints on YouTube or wherever you find your podcasts. LouisianaSports.net, Ross Jackson is all over them as well. Hey, it's Hunt. Thanks for watching Hunt on Saints. Before you leave, help us out a little bit. Hit that like button, leave your comments in the section below, and hit that subscribe button so you get all our content right here from Hunt on Saints. We'll see you next time.